there. AD responds.
Start with an A.
Start with A.
He knows too. So like y'all definitely pill talk about me behind the podcast back, which is crazy. I'm not sitting there off camera, off stream saying, Joe Budden, let's talk about. You guys talk about me off camera. Cause y'all, look, he's smiling at you. Yo, bro, that's hilarious.
I don't. With that little white boy.
He's horrible.
I don't with nothing about him.
See the push?
Yes, I saw the puka.
He sees everything about me. He's a fan of me. Joe Budden, I don't see anything about you unless you talk about Drake. Facts. Yo, chat, I'm just being real. Unless he talks about Drake, I don't see any of your. I swear to God, I'm not even trying to be funny. I swear to God, only when you talk about like Drake. That's the only time I see your clips. You see my every day. I know you do.
That's what has me on it like that.
Sure.
Like I feel bad for Puka. Puka Nakua went on Aiden Ross's stream. Puka's had a tough week.
Yeah.
Oh.
He went on Aiden Ross's stream,
Sure.
and Aiden Ross was teaching him a touchdown dance to do for when you get your next touchdown.
Okay.
And the touchdown dance was some anti-Semitic hand gesture.
You know what's so funny to me? He's talking about anti-Semitic hand gesture. He talking about it. You in the beginning, the first thing you said in this clip is, "I don't like this white boy, this white guy that made it." So people are so hypocritical. Stop playing this little race card whenever it's convenient for you, bro. It's sad. Joe Budden, how old are you playing this race card? How old are you? Let me look this up. Joe Budden age. You're 45 years old playing the race card when it's convenient for you. It's just cringe. Be consistent then, bro. Be consistent.
That Puka
I'm Jewish.
did on the stream.
The Hitler shit?
No, he didn't do
Hitler.
that. He didn't do that one. He did another one. I'm not doing
it.
Do it. You guys can't do it because you guys are owned. Straight up. You guys have sponsors that'll drop you the next day. You're scared. So guys, remember guys, it's okay to talk down on white people, but if it's Jewish people, it's a problem. Right? You guys are pussies. You guys are actual pussies. You're scared. You can't talk about what you want to talk about. You're not real.
But,
Nobody do it, please.
But he didn't know.
He had no idea. He's just like, okay, this is what I do.
So Aiden Ross knew.
Of course.
Aiden Ross be knowing. There's a little clique of those racist little white fucks.
Racist white fucks. So Joe Biden, do you don't think in any way that's hypocritical at all? Racist little white fucks. That's definitely not at all hypocritical or ironic in any way, right?
The racist little white streamers
playing games.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
So Puka's had a tough week. He had to issue a statement saying, I had no idea that hand gesture meant.
Yo, bro, you know what's so funny? Clip season, if you didn't post this, nobody would have seen this. Nobody watches Joe Budden. Like, that's what's so funny. Like, look at these comments. Dude, clip season, did Joe Budden pay you for this? Because I swear to God, I would have never seen this clip.
XYZ, I'm sorry anybody I've harmed.
That's a really fucked up thing to do.
And I just don't.
It's awful.
With him,
Yo, that's crazy, dog. I ain't gonna lie.
I don't with him
Bro,
at
that
all,
shit
yo.
could, you know how,
Are you finished?
how much that could have affected.
Aiden Ross he went on Logan Paul's podcast. See, I don't be in the white people business. But him and the other little racist white boy, Steve Will Do It.
Like, what? Dude.
Logan Paul wasn't playing none of that race.
The racist white boy. You're racist by saying that, you stupid retard. Holy
Good on him.
Homeboy said something, Logan Paul said, yo, get the fuck out. Get up. Get the fuck out. I'm not going to ask you again. I'm going to remove you myself. It's going to go a different way if you don't get the fuck out of my face right now. Yeah.
Good.
Like they thought he was playing. Like they thought he was like, hey, what you mean? Nah, all white boys ain't on that, dog. All.
Bro, look how ugly this skank is. Holy fuck, dude. Yo, hold on.
Hey, what you mean? Nah, all white boys ain't on that, dog.
Yo, bro. Oh my. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, bro. There's no way someone's tuning in this podcast to look at that. I'm sorry, bro. Yo. Oh my God. Yo, bro. Have you guys ever seen The Goonies? She looks like the creature off The Goonies. The one that hides in that cave. Yo, that is disgusting. Are you wearing a wig? Whatever. Yo, bro. Holy. That's a jump scare.
All white boys ain't on with.
All right, so let's look at the Joe Budden files we pulled up here.
What is the story? Tell me.
Something about you hiding under the bed.
That's the greatest story ever told.
Tell us.
I was texting Thierry.
Go ahead.
and she wasn't responding. All right, great. So I went to the crib, walked in, I checked for any sense of men.
Yeah, any condoms?
I checked for all that because you might walk in with a man and that could get ugly.
Absolutely.
I thought I heard her voice coming. So I did what any logical man would do.
What?
And I went behind the door.
Right.
So when she opened the door, it's like, ah!
Right.
I'm here.
In
Jersey.
Okay.
I'm standing behind the door for however long.
That is in Jersey or the Bronx?
I'm not
Crazy.
Yeah, don't give out that.
But I was standing behind the door and she never came. I was standing there for about 10 minutes. So I said, you know what? I don't smoke man cigs in my crib.
He broke into his ex's house,
Just
hid
smoking
in her
in
back.
crib.
Like, dude, this guy's a freak, bro. This guy's a real creep.
Right.
Joe Budden's
That
ex-girlfriend
shit on the
reveals how
floor.
she had a miscarriage after a violent fight.
That
Why
shit
am I
in
not
the sink.
surprised? Why am I not surprised, Joe
Like
Budden?
a
In my
trap
opinion, I
house,
think you're a woman beater.
like a
I mean,
telly.
of course, right? Of course. You must be a woman beater. I agree, in my opinion, allegedly.
Having a miscarriage.
The first you resembled my twin. Fast forward, you gave me identical twins, but then you lost it. Honestly, that murked my soul.
Did you really have a miscarriage?
Yes, I did. I had a miscarriage as a result
Yo, who did the soundboard? Grant, is that you?
of some actions that he decided to take.
Yo, dude. Come on, bro.
Those actions.
Joe Budden,
We were having an argument.
don't talk about me, bro. Allegedly, you're hitting girls. Like, come on, bro. With pregnant ladies you're smacking and like, yo, this is just sad, dude. I don't even know why yo, bro, that's sad.
argument about inappropriate
It gets worse?
behavior
Let's see.
on Twitter. And being inappropriate with other women on Twitter.
I'm not surprised at
Basically,
all.
I mean, we got into an argument.
Okay.
And
What happened?
he, kind of just went into a rage and
course.
started throwing my stuff
Of course, he's violent.
down the stairs.
I know.
My clothes and shoes and everything.
Sorry about that.
Down the stairs, he's telling me to get out, and I
Aw.
just went into another room and just closed the door,
His own child is pregnant in that belly, too. What type of father does that?
locked the door.
Huh?
And he didn't like that. He came over and kicked the door down,
Oh, wow.
came into the room, grabbed me by my ankles and yanked me out of the bed multiple times.
Horrible.
And
So
it
sad.
basically ended up choking me, so I couldn't breathe, slamming me up against the door, like in the closet.
Alright, Chad, this might be getting personal, but he's denied this. So maybe they're in AD's Twitter com, they're just, resurfacing old clips, but he has denied this. I thought AD would respond. Like have have his own thoughts. I mean, he kind of said what he said already.
The FIFA World Cup 2026 is going to be big.
Is it going to be bigger than the time when I drove the injury card on the field?
Bigger.
If you've ever
Is it
played
gonna be
poker,
bigger
you
than,
already know the rules of the game are simple.
bigger?
Once those cards hit the table, you're left with just two choices. You fold and walk away, or you sack up, throw the chips in, and pray to God you've got the better hand. For years, the NELKBOYS have done exactly that, going all in again and again, each hand raising the stakes higher than before. For them, it was always about going against the grain, doing things their way system. It was reckless, it was risky, and it was something nobody else had the balls to try. But it paid off big time, because they forged one of the most fiercely loyal fan bases ever seen on this platform. But somewhere along the way, the risk turned into routine. The edge dulled, and what started as a rebellion started to look a lot more like greed.
Tomorrow, we are going to be announcing our NFT project.
The Metacard wasn't just an NFT. It was a golden ticket, a digital pass to whatever FULLSEND built next. Dozens of ideas, endless promises, but the real pitch was simple. Buy in now and be a part of history later. And it worked, because in just 10 minutes, Nelk raked in $23 million. That's 38 grand every goddamn second. And then they vanished, pulled the plug, and disappeared.
I'm really curious to know where that money went.
Do you think that they're bad people and their intentions from the start were to walk out with 23 million and do nothing?
I mean,
If you really want to understand how this all started, you have to go back. way back to July 6th, 2010, when a 16-year-old kid named Kyle Forgeard, growing up in the suburbs of Ontario, decided to roll the dice on YouTube. He grabbed a couple of childhood friends, a cheap camera, and launched a channel called Nelk. No plan, no real roadmap, just a bunch of kids chasing a feeling. Around the same time, just a few towns over, another kid named Jesse Sebastiani was making moves of his own. MTV had greenlit a new series called Careless Teens, 8 episodes of homegrown stunts and chaos, shot on nothing but handheld cameras in the middle of Shelburne. It was basically Jackass for small-town Canada, and Jesse was the star of it. Nelk started out as a free-for-all, prank videos one day and short films the next. But as Kyle finished high school and gave film school a shot, something started to click. The channel was building momentum, and Kyle realized something. He didn't need a degree to make a living online. He just needed to go all in. So he dropped out, and soon after, those two small-town kids chasing the same dream finally crossed paths. Jesse's background in pulling off idiotic stunts and reckless pranks, cut from the same cloth as Jackass, brought an edge to Nelk that most YouTubers couldn't fathom. And their first video together perfectly encapsulates that. A prank on strangers in public, where the boys quite literally lit themselves on fire and blamed innocent bystanders. Was it the best idea ever? No, but YouTube isn't about making sense. It's about getting people to click. From there, they followed that same strategy, with each video elevating the shock value. From pranking cops with donuts to ordering pizzas to fake meth labs, each stunt grew louder, riskier, and more absurd than the last. And in doing so, they carved out a lane that no one else dared to touch. The bad boys of YouTube.
A practical joke could have consequences when the targets are police officers. Tonight, a prank against the LAPD has gone viral.
Coca-Cola in the trunk.
The department is speaking out.
What you guys up to?
Nothing, just...
The what?
Nothing.
Huh?
Oh my God.
Pat, the video posted online has already received tens of thousands of views.
Is your buddy back here okay?
I don't know. Yeah, he's fine. You're fine.
The pranksters say it was all harmless fun, but the LAPD is not laughing.
I can't do this. I can't do this. Man. We have a bunch of coke in the back. I'm sorry. Dude.
A bunch of coke in the back?
I'm sorry. Kyle.
All right. Okay, man. Step out of the... We're going to do this one by one.
One of the officers starts to handcuff them, the other goes around to check the trunk. Instead of cocaine, it is just Coca-Cola.
This video mattered for a dozen reasons. It didn't just blow up on YouTube, it blew outside of it. Mainstream news picked it up, headlines in the Daily Mail, Cosmopolitan, Inside Edition.
Zoe?
Yeah.
It definitely blew up.
For meeting for coffee?
It might still be their most watched
It racked
video
up
on
over
YouTube.
50 million views and became one of the most talked about uploads on the platform. But for Kyle and Jesse, it meant more than views. It was validation, a green light.
We're gonna what? Take over in 6 months. We're gonna kill it. We're gonna kill it. Team Nelk on top. Cheers.
But here's what they don't tell you about green lights. They don't always take you straight to the finish line. That moment didn't change their lives overnight. It didn't come with a golden ticket or a fat paycheck. What it gave them was potential. Possibility. It dropped them in this awkward in-between, where they're too big to be nobodies, but not big enough to walk away from everything else. And every creator eventually ends up here, in no man's land. The numbers are promising, the audience is growing, you're close enough to taste it, but not close enough to leap. Jump too early and you crash, too late and you miss the wave. And honestly, that's exactly where we've been. Countless hours scripting, filming, and editing, dumping every dollar back into the channel. We've turned down dozens of brand deals, not because we couldn't use the money, but because we're still building the foundation of what this thing even is. But recently something's changed. The right partner showed up, one that believed in what we're doing and wanted to help take it farther. So for our very first brand deal, we wanted to do something a little different. We teamed up with Underdog for the next stretch of the NBA playoff. So if you want to have some, you make your first definitely made following along with the series 10 times more exciting. So shout out to Underdog for sponsoring the channel, and let's get back to the video. Every dollar Nelk made went straight back into the channel. Flights, props, gear, videographers. They started bouncing from city to city, campus to campus, chasing the next high, the next headline. Across Canada, down into the States, wherever they had to go to pull off the next big prank. And as the views kept climbing, so did the lifestyle. No more crashing in cars or sleeping on fans' couches. Now it was hotel rooms and Airbnbs.
We're gonna get a beer pong table out here soon.
After 3 long years in the social media rat race, it finally felt like they'd made it. Like they could take a second just to breathe. But something was on the horizon, something that would choke the life out of YouTube itself. In early 2017, the London Times dropped a headline that hit like a Molotov. Big brands fund terror through online adverts. Catchy, Terrifying, and just true enough to start a fire. As it turns out, extremist, racist, and hate-filled videos on YouTube were being accidentally sponsored by the likes of Mercedes, Honda, and Pepsi. Yeah, soft drinks and sedans paying for jihadist rants. And the backlash was immediate. From Madison Avenue to Silicon Valley, panic spread like a wildfire. AT&T pulled out, Verizon ghosted, Johnson & Johnson hit the eject button so fast you'd think they just discovered asbestos in the comments section.
Well, Google could lose as much as $750 million because of its advertiser boycott.
YouTube, caught mid-free fall, did what every tech giant does under pressure. They overcorrected.
We apologize when anything like that happens. We don't want it to happen, you don't want it to happen, and we take responsibility for it.
YouTube immediately bent over. What can we change? How can we please you advertisers so you'll continue to advertise on this platform?
New monetization rules dropped like a morality sledgehammer. Suddenly you couldn't swear, couldn't stage a slap, anything even adjacent to violence, drugs, or sex. Age restricted, demonetized, buried.
The secret Lambo that no one can buy, YouTube has deemed that video not suitable for most advertisers.
And worst of all, this wasn't human moderation, it was an algorithm wired to shoot first and ask questions later.
But you're telling me hundreds of thousands of dollars that should have been mine just because your robotic algorithm hates my videos?
Videos vanished, ad dollars dried up, creators got slapped with demonetization notices faster than they could refresh their dashboards.
Why is my income being affected even though I'm doing the same thing I've always done and I wasn't part of the problem to begin with?
Now, if you're someone like Casey Neistat, this was just an annoying PR blip. Stay clean, play nice, and ad dollars will soon come trickling back. But if you're Nelk, if your entire brand is the chaos, suddenly you're not just demonetized, you're blacklisted.
What was the list of stuff you can't include in your videos?
Pretty much everything we do, you know, swearing, like drinking, smoking, even making jokes about that kind of stuff. It has to be for kids.
Unless you're basically Barney on YouTube or Arthur, you're not gonna make money.
Ultimately, they had two choices. Bend the knee to the almighty YouTube algorithm, rebrand, repackage, and pretend you were ever advertiser friendly in the first place. Or say f the whole system.
So what we've decided to do is we've started a Nelk Kickstarter page.
You see, the typical influencer business model looks like this. 3 income streams: brand partnerships, YouTube ad revenue, and merch. Nelk cut out 2 of the legs, leaving them fully dependent on their fans to survive.
So basically you can go on that website right now and you can donate and you can help support us, keep us going.
And it worked. Over 175 supporters stepped up to raise $7,912 in their Kickstarter campaign. And sure, some of them donated enough to get a t-shirt or a hoodie, but what they were really buying was time. Just enough to keep the fire burning. The tour across North America rolled on. Cross-country mayhem, next-level pranks, and algorithm-defying uploads. Nelk passed the 1 million subs and even landed a bedroom to live in at the legendary Cloud House, paid for by none other than Ricky Banks. But as the months went on and the Kickstarter money began circling the drain, most would have panicked, cut the cameras, and called it a wrap. But Kyle and Jesse weren't built like that. They weren't waiting around for a bailout, and they'd actually been quietly building the next move for months. And in late 2017, they dropped it.
Guys, if you're watching this video, merch is live, finally.
The drops were limited edition, with the premium feel. It was supreme by way of YouTube. This wasn't slap a logo on a tee merch, it was a statement, made for diehards, the ones who didn't just watch Nelk, but lived it. And FULLSEND became the uniform of that movement.
Yeah, with this heavy.
By their second merch drop, 2,000 hoodies vanished off the site in under 33 minutes. Gone, like Ferris Bueller on a day off.
Holy, that is actually insane. You gotta show them this 9 to 5.
Kids were so desperate to get their hands on the drop that eBay listings started showing up for $500 a pop.
Holy That's insane.
Boys, if you're gonna want Nelk merch, you're gonna have to like wait for that upload when we release, man.
One hoodie for $50,000. That's not fashion, that's fandom weaponized. Everywhere Nelk showed up, it turned into a scene. Parties turned into riots, bars became flash mobs. They handed out merch like candy and threw stacks of cash like it was Monopoly money. It wasn't marketing, it was mayhem. And the fans, they gave back. Badges, name tags, uniforms, whatever the next prank needed, they delivered.
Roku's self-serve ads platform. It's easier than ever with Ads Manager. Sign up today.
Psst. Hey, did you know that kid is vaping the same time?
But the farther Nelk pushed past YouTube's rules, the more inevitable it became. The system was going to fight back. Hard.
One of my favorite prank channels, Nelk, got their YouTube partnership terminated today.
Nelk dropped a video where they pretended to be Google employees, wandering the halls of the Silicon Valley HQ with fake badges, trolling other workers.
You think Google's even gonna last? I think Bing's taken over.
You kind of look like a Bing kind of guy too, no?
And YouTube didn't just dislike it, they declared war. First, Nelk was dropped by their MCN, fully demonetizing their channel. Then the video disappeared, completely removed from the platform. A second strike hit their channel, a 2-week upload ban from YouTube.
Like, it gets 1 million views, and then they just take it down?
Or block you from uploading your content?
That's so annoying, man.
Just like that, the loudest voices on the platform were locked out of their own playground. But here's the thing, Nelk wasn't just some channel anymore. They were a problem, and their fans went nuclear. Tens of thousands swarmed YouTube's social medias, comments flooded in, free Nelk, YouTube, page after page, platform-wide immunity. The mob wasn't just angry, they were loyal, organized, and everywhere. YouTube tried to cut off Nelk's legs, and their fans showed up with prosthetics and a war chant.
So drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink. So drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker, drink, motherfucker.
2018 was the year Nelk stopped being.
Steve Will Do It still has that as his intro. When you're watching it, Steve Will Do It. By the way, he's back on YouTube. Go support him. And he's doing what he always does, what he does best, giving away money to his subscribers. So go sub up. But he still has that as the intro. Drink, mother lover, drink, mother lover, drink.
YouTube channel and became a movement. They hit 2 million subscribers, sold out meetups across North America, and A-list cameos flooded their channel. Nelk wasn't just a part of the party scene anymore, they were defining it. But they were still missing one ingredient, a wildcard, a grenade. Steve Will Do It exploded on Instagram and Twitter with challenge videos that looked like deleted scenes from a frat house fever dream. Slamming entire bottles of booze and eating like he had a death wish, it was disgusting. But it was also mesmerizing. It was everything Nelk didn't know that they needed. So they threw him into a drinking and lectures prank, and the thing detonated. One video and the fans were hooked. Overnight, Steve wasn't just a guest star, he was a main character. Kyle, Jesse, and Steve formed Nelk into a trio, and from there, it was just hit after hit after hit. From that point on, the frat presidents of the internet had a new mission, to take the throne of social media. They started pulling back from the one-dimensional shock and awe pranks, and leaned into something sharper, storytelling. More vlogs, more behind the scenes, more of them. The pranks were still the bait, but now their personalities were the hook. Each upload felt bigger, tighter, more cinematic. They brought in creative killers like Osgod, and built out a 20-person team to keep the content machine firing on all cylinders. Scotland, Paris, Italy, a European tour filled with months of chaos, over-the-top pranks, and viral moments. It was Nelk's first run through Europe, and it cemented their spot as top-tier creators on the platform. And while they were lighting up cities overseas, they dropped their latest FULLSEND collection. It sold out in 30 minutes. $13 million worth of merch gone in a flash.
132K?
People are on the website right now.
32,000 people on the website.
Right now.
And that was the moment the rest of the influencer world realized. The game had changed. What started as basic tees and hoodies had evolved into monthly drops that moved like Supreme on Adderall. Nelk had rewritten the merch playbook, releasing actual products their fans could use in their day-to-day lives. Shotgunning tools, beer funnels, lighters, pong tables. And just like that, FULLSEND wasn't a slogan anymore, it was a standalone brand.
It was.
But the success didn't fill them. It just gave them a budget to think bigger and take more. The houses got bigger, the views grew higher, and beneath the chaos, a strategy was forming. While other creators played it safe, Nelk kept doing the unthinkable. They pushed all their chips in, again and again and again, and every time, the fans were right there behind them. No hesitations, no questions. It didn't matter the risk, didn't matter the price, the audience would foot the bill. So they kept betting on themselves, adding new faces to the lineup, leveling up the content, pushing the limits of what a controversial internet group could achieve. But this was no longer just about content. This was about control, scale, infrastructure. Building a brand off of content deemed too rated R for brands is challenging in itself, but scaling it into an empire without losing the edge, that takes precision, patience, a different kind of animal altogether. So Nelk did something no one expected. They brought in a suit. Not the kind that talks in circles or checks your budget before your vision, but the kind that plays the long game. Quiet, calculated, cold-blooded with a smile.
John Shahidi.
John Shahidi came in.
John Shahidi is an incredible networker and connected individual.
John Shahidi has spent decades working alongside Hollywood A-listers. Before the term creator economy took off, he was building apps for names like Mike Tyson and Chad Ochocinco, helping turn celebrities into tech products. When Vine shut down, he gave its top creators, Rudy Mancuso, Anwar Jabawi, Lele Pons, and Hannah Stocking, a second act on YouTube. But the centerpiece of it all was Justin Bieber.
Yo, we in Canada, baby, hometown. We got Major up here, we got Johnny. We got Samuel.
He was more than just a client. Bieber partnered with Shahidi to launch Shots of Me, a selfie-sharing app that in some ways anticipated B-Real. No comments, no public likes, just raw front-facing camera posts in a tightly controlled space.
Nice.
Shahidi wasn't just building platforms, he was engineering the environments his talent moved through.
John Shahidi, brilliant guy.
Kyle and the NELKBOYS brought in John Shahidi to help engineer their next big swing, Happy Dad.
Boys, we made a fucking seltzer.
When you're the face of the internet's party scene, alcohol brands don't just reach out. They throw 8-figure checks at you to drink their beer online. But Nelk wasn't looking to rent their image out. They wanted ownership. They wanted scale. They wanted $1 billion beverage brand with their name on the can.
We didn't really want to call it like Nelk Seltzer or like FULLSEND Seltzer. We were all putting ideas in the group chat and someone said Happy Dad.
Happy Dad was their shot at it, another entry into the seltzer's arm race, but with a twist. While other brands leaned into pastel palettes and tall, skinny cans, Happy Dad showed up looking like a beer.
No more skinny can bullshit. We don't need it in a skinny can. There's no reason for that.
Right. Familiar, but for guys who didn't want to explain what they were drinking.
They want to give it like a beer marketing kind of vibe. Like, we're trying to make this seltzer for like boys.
The branding was subtle but sharp, masculine without trying too hard, meme-friendly without being a joke, and the formula backed it up. Low sugar, added electrolytes, and a cleaner finish designed for real-world drinking. It wasn't just about selling cans, it was about building something that actually had legs.
This drink's gonna be for
everybody. Dads, moms, future dads. A lot of future dads.
Happy Dad launched in June
A
of
lot of
2021,
future dads.
and it didn't just land, it detonated.
Fathers in the making, right now.
Go, boys! Let's go! It's a f***ing Happy Dad!
More investment, more performance. Chrome Tour, the new gold standard.
Chrome Tour? Excuse me.
What started as a regional release in a handful of states snowballed into a national phenomenon. Within the first year, it expanded into 16 states and moved over 698,000 cases. It wasn't just a drink, it was a character in the Nelk cinematic universe. Front and center in every party montage, every FULLSEND podcast episode, every chaotic night was fueled by Happy Dad. Stores couldn't stock it fast enough. Fans chased restock trucks like it was Yeezy Season 1. Shelves emptied in hours. Resellers flipped cases online. Happy Dad merch was gone in minutes. Momentum kept snowballing. New flavors dropped. Demand surged. In its first full year, Happy Dad sold over 31.2 million cans, bringing over $46.8 million in gross sales. And they weren't easing off the gas. Today, Happy Dad isn't just a seltzer, it's a top 4 titan, sitting behind only White Claw, Truly, and Topo Chico. It's the official hard seltzer of the LA Clippers, and with high-profile collabs with Snoop Dogg, Death Row Records, Drewski, and DJ Pauly D, Happy Dad became the most followed beer or seltzer brand on social media.
And look, the fans are amazing. Hey, these guys.
I love you!
I'm like lost for words. It feels like it literally feels like a dream.
But as the numbers grew, views, merch, drink sales, so did the headcount. New offices, bigger headquarters, departments, roles, titles. Suddenly, Nelk wasn't a tight-knit crew making chaos in dorms and gas station parking lots. It was a corporation, and with that shift, the energy changed. The content wasn't about what felt exciting anymore. It was about what performed. Not what was fun, but what hit quotas. Deadlines replaced spontaneity. Spreadsheets replaced instincts. Somewhere between the boardroom meetings and strategy calls, that beautiful chaos, the kind they used to chase across college campuses with nothing but a camera and a feeling, got traded in for quarterly projections. And it started to weigh heavy, especially on Jesse.
I don't have anything, you know what I mean? So
Is that how you felt?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah, for sure.
When did you start feeling that?
Probably like around my last year, I'd say.
For Jesse and Kyle, Nelk was never supposed to be a business. It was a passion project. 2 kids from nowhere, trying to out-crazy each other and see if the internet would notice. The joy was in the unknown, the freedom, the reckless purity of it. But now, every upload came with pressure. Every decision came with millions watching. The character Jesse had once played so effortlessly, the party animal, the wild card, the rebel,
Oh, I smell a sin, baby!
became a mask he couldn't take off. By the time he hit his late 20s, it wasn't fun anymore.
Right.
The drinking, the traveling, the same party on a different night in a different city. He had grown, but the brand wouldn't let him.
That's all it
little
was.
by
He had
little,
grown
he
up.
pulled away. He sold his shares, left the company, and just like that, half of what made Nelk feel like Nelk was no longer in the room. It wasn't an announcement, it wasn't a scandal, it was a quiet exit from something that had once been a dream. And while the machine kept moving, something was missing. The spark, the soul, the feeling from that first video, when two kids lit themselves on fire and laughed like they had nothing to lose. Now, they had everything to lose. And Jesse didn't want to lose himself with it. This is where the story was supposed to end. A rise, a fall, a cautionary tale about chasing the impossible and the quiet devastation of actually catching it. But then, a few weeks into making this video, we found something. A class action, $23 million on the line, and right at the center of it all, the Nelk Boys. Now, if you're as chronically online as I am, you probably remember the FULLSEND metacard. Maybe it was that random snoop.
Because this guy is so good at what he does with videos, I thought he was just gonna dive deeper into what happened. And I guess that's just it. As much as this guy is like Nardwar for the internet, nobody knows what happened. But in my opinion, bro, especially at that age growing up, I just felt like he grew up. And that doesn't mean, oh, anybody drinking and partying and doing frat behavior every night is not growing up. It just meant he just grew up. People grow up. People outgrow things. Maybe that's the best way to put it. He outgrew it. He has a pop, by the way. You know what I mean? His pops is in his life. And his pops is as fun as he is. But he just outgrew it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think they are the perfect example of how you handle something in business. You can have friends in business. And when someone outgrows the business, you pay them. You make sure they eat. You make sure they feel respected and valued. And you let them go their way. You don't need to talk about them. It was never no negative. And then later down the line, he's popped back out for a video or two, and it's always like they didn't skip a beat. It's always back to exactly who they are. They're good friends, and he outgrew it. And he went on MTV. Jesse is not just a content creator. I mean, a YouTube content creator. He's definitely so much more. He went on to build his own thing. His own show came out, a good one. I mean, he dropped like, what was it, like 9 back-to-back videos of like a little series he did that I don't understand how he didn't keep going. It was just kind of, it had the feeling of Nelk, but it was definitely his own thing, and it was enjoyable. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out.
Concert or
I forget what it was called, but I feel like it had a curse word in it. I feel like it was a curse word and then a name.
Promise of FULLSEND gyms popping up across the country.
The NELKBOYS NFT just launched and sold out in seconds.
At the time, the metacard was hyped up as the next big thing in crypto. But after those clips made their rounds, I never heard about it again. Just another failed NFT project laid to rest in the digital graveyard. Or at least, that's what I assumed. Because as this lawsuit makes clear, the FULLSEND metacard wasn't some flopped NFT dream. It was a playbook for vanishing millions. On January 18th, 2022, Kyle Forjard, John Shahidi, and the Nelk crew revealed what they claimed was the next evolution of NFTs. Not cartoon monkeys or pixelated penguins, this one was all about utility, and in 24 hours, they'd be up for sale.
As we build this empire, you're one of 10,000 people that's getting access to everything that we're gonna do. And I know a lot of people out there believe in us, and those are the people that we want. We want people that say, hell yeah, I would go to a FULLSEND hotel and casino in 5 years.
The goal, at least on paper, was simple. Build something that gave real value to cardholders, beyond Twitter clout. It was framed as a way for fans to buy into the Nelk empire, and walk away with a piece of it.
So it's kind of like they're investing and getting a return, you know?
And you're taking that money and fueling it into all these different things you're building, right?
Yeah, a ton of money.
Think of it as a decentralized stock. Skip the venture dinners, bypass the suits, Kyle could go straight to the fans, raise capital, and launch their next big brand without asking permission. When the announcement hit, Twitter lit up. Hundreds of thousands flooded into their Discord, so many that they crashed the entire server. And in a live stream that night, the details dropped. 10,000 metacards at $2,300 each.
And I want to open shit up soon. Like, I don't want this to be like, you know.
This isn't
like a 20-year project
tomorrow, and we'll see you next year. Like we're getting to work right away.
Right.
Ideas were tossed left and right: lounges, gyms, sports bars, and even casinos. It seemed that with this $23 million, FULLSEND was gearing up for brick-and-mortar landmarks. Buying a metacard wasn't just buying an NFT; it was buying a seat at the table. Cardholders got more than access and merch discounts. They got influence. They weren't just in the room; they had a say in what the room became. So after the project went live and all 10,000 metacards sold in the first 10 minutes, then what happened?
Well, we alleged that they received approximately $23 million from the sale, an additional $3 to $4 million in secondary royalties. So let's just call it $25 million total.
Oh, okay.
They got $25 million. They spent $1 million, $2 million, maybe $3 million on a concert with Snoop Dogg that a few hundred people attended, a single game suite at a football game, some merchandise, some giveaways. Let's call it $1 million or $2 million or $3 million. It doesn't matter. They then abandoned the project, we believe, and pocketed the 20 some odd million dollars.
If you go to the Metacard website, you'll find a neat little timeline, milestone after milestone, of the Nelk team giving back to holders.
It's a lot of money.
$100,000 giveaway, free UFC tickets, SoFi Stadium box seats for Chargers and Rams games. Metacard holders were invited to sit in on live podcast recordings, front row for headline guests like Colby Covington, Elon Musk, and Sugar Sean. Sure, they tossed out some free merch and gift cards too, but that's more or less where the program plateaued. Over time, talk of gyms disappeared, plans for lounges quietly faded, and eventually, cardholders began asking for updates. But responses became few and far between. As the broader NFT market sank into steady decline, the Metacard wasn't just slipping, it was free-falling. Its value eroded month after month, and for nearly 2 years, the bleeding was managed not with a cure, but with gauze. Quick fixes, temporary hits of dopamine, a couple more UFC tickets here, another podcast recording there, maybe a Rams game if you were lucky, but what was once sold as a $2,300 key to a digital empire turned into a glorified raffle ticket, occasional access for a microscopic fraction of holders, and even then, only when the stars aligned.
Adobe Acrobat Studio is all new. What can PDF spaces with AI do? Drag and research, drop in thoughts. Watch AI pull insights from your
I never heard this story about this Metacard yet.
Build from there. Now you can do
If I would have knew about a FULLSEND Metacard, I would have
vape,
bought one.
But I don't need to vape, you know?
But I wouldn't have been
I only
complaining.
do when my friends do it.
It is what it
On the
is.
weekends. I don't know. I don't really like to think about it.
Hey, that's the interesting about the Nelk Boys. They have such a wide audience. They got guys like me. I'm a supporter. This is a FULLSEND. This is a FULLSEND flag right here. I mean, they got guys like us. I'm a grown man, bro. I'm not outside partying at frats. They got the colleges. They got women at colleges. They got the adults that drink a beer every now and again. Their audience is so wide. But they really connected. Before the kids that were going to college, they connected with the high schoolers. And those guys got money. Those guys got money. So when you see these lawyers suing and alleging all these things, these are families that got money. And they spent some dollars, maybe bought 2 or 3 Metacards, and I guess they took it real personal. Because again, I'm telling you, if I would have knew about the Metacard, I would have bought one. If I had the money, I'd have bought 2. And if this happened where they disappeared, I wouldn't have complained. Because I'm of the understanding that they gave us so much content, bro. Maybe they did realize, all right, we're in over our heads. We had plans of a hotel. We made $27 million. It's $50 million to put half down for the hotel. That's not even like you realize, okay, even a sports bar is not gonna make a $27 million investment. We're not gonna see that back, not for another 20 years. What's a sports bar gonna do? All right, everybody around the world that wants to be a part of Nelk is gonna come to that bar. You know, what is that gonna make? What are we gonna do about food? We're gonna hire a chef yearly. What are we going to do about bartenders? We're going to give guys jobs that love to drink. It just, you start to realize maybe it started off as a great idea. And what are we going to do? Realistically, give the money back? So they abandon ship. If this is true, this is all alleged. I just feel like as a fan, there's certain L's you just got to chalk it up to the game. They had an idea. It sounded good. They gave us an opportunity. And maybe it was a big, maybe the wool was put over our eyes. Maybe the guy, not Nelk necessarily, but the guys that confronted them or approached them with this idea kind of knew, this is our get out thing. Like, look at all the content you gave these people over the years. The least they can do is buy a card for $150. Hundreds of thousands of them. And this is your retirement money. YouTube's not paying you. What are you going to do? You're going to keep trying to do this and sell merch forever and make $1 million and then spend $500,000? This is your big $5 million a piece, each of you, retire money. Maybe that's how they looked at it. I don't know. I don't know. But I just feel like suing them is crazy. Like the content they gave us, they showed you the proof. They were blocked. They were banned from monetizing. They gave us years and years of free content. And they trusted us to buy the merchandise to keep them paid so they can keep going. And you sue them? They were the first YouTubers to really make guys like me say, no, I can make it. I can make it with YouTube. As long as I'm free, not locked up, and I got access to a YouTube account, I can make it. I can figure out a way to put content out, whatever content is true to myself and natural for me, even if I got to step out my comfort zone. As long as I'm free and got YouTube, put God first, I can make it. It was these guys that did that for me. And they did it for guys all over the world. They made guys like me who didn't watch these other YouTubers who were very precise and particular about how they put content out. Everything was well thought out. Everything was high budget. Everything was very well mannered and well spoken. They went out there and they were just behaving the way I was. I was with guys and I was drinking and I was running around and I was pulling girls and I was sending it. But they picked up a camera and made millions. So they made guys like us say, all right, maybe that's not the road I want to take, because I don't want to spend the next 10 years heavily devoted to drinking every day just to really bring it home to my fans and relate to my fans. But I can find another avenue and take YouTube serious. It was Nelk. It was FULLSEND. It was the NELKBOYS that did that.
In April of 2024,
And
the
you
Nelk team
sued
finally unveiled their masterpiece, the long-awaited empire their community had been promised. And it arrived not as FULLSEND gyms, not as a Miami sports bar, but as beef jerky.
We have access to gas stations, convenience stores, grocery stores. What else can we do? It's a beef jerky. We're going to do something with our NFT holders that can't really get into it yet because of details, but something where our NFT holders will be a big part of this.
Now, from where I'm sitting, Board Jerky is a bit of a curveball. The origin
Yeah.
story, allegedly,
I
began
would've
with
said,
a Metacard holder who
no-
owned a
no
small-time
jerky.
operation called Supreme Jerky. And to be clear, we're venturing into speculative territory here, but the way it's been pieced together is like this. John got involved, the two parties linked up, and the product got a facelift. Supreme
Right.
Jerky's name and branding were stripped, repackaged, and reintroduced as
Right.
Board Jerky.
That
Same
makes sense
jerky,
what happened.
different label. From there, they scaled up production, threw a slick marketing wrapper on top, and rolled it out to Metacard holders like this was the next phase of the master plan.
With respect to Board Jerky, remember the preface of the Metacard was this is access to Nelk. This is access to FULLSEND.
Right.
All of the deals that they do moving forward are going to be brought to the Metacard holders' attention, right? It gives you early access. And sure, maybe Board Jerky would have been a deal that the Metacard holders got to experience had what we believe had Nelk lived up to what they represented. But the fact that Board Jerky was, one, constantly delayed for years and years and years and years.
Right.
And two, when it did come, it was conditioned on accepting something called phantom equity, which isn't really a thing, in my opinion, and waiving your rights to the Metacard.
You see, Board Jerky wasn't just a new beginning. It was the quiet funeral for the so-called empire. When the
Okay.
offer finally hit the Discord, it came with two options wrapped in the language of opportunity. But if we're being honest, it felt more like a strategic exit in disguise. Option 1. Trade in your Metacard for Phantom shares in Board Jerky and become an affiliate marketer. It sounds pretty cool, right? But Phantom shares are basically the corporate equivalent of crossing your fingers. It's not real equity,
Oh,
it's just a
man.
hypothetical bonus if the company performs. And option 2 was a refund of your Metacard. But even that came wrapped in red tape. A 30-day ticking clock, a convoluted 3-step contract process where signing the first document didn't guarantee momentum. Weeks could pass before the next one even showed up in your inbox. Oh, and there was a catch. You needed a US bank account to claim the refund.
Is a problem.
And they're from Canada.
Need to get back on the road?
These Metacard holders were given two options, either the refund or go on with this board jerky. Okay. What's interesting about this refund is it didn't apply to everybody. You had to have a U.S. bank account or be a U.S. citizen or something to that effect, even though a lot of the people who bought Meta cards were not from the U.S. And I find it funny that these defendants in these type of cases are so particular about compliance, and it's a compliance thing when it's with respect to issuing a refund, but they had no problem taking in money from everywhere. Right. The other thing that I want to point out with respect to the refund is you have to remember this was years after the Meta card was launched, over 2 years after, and a lot of people had fallen off and not kept up with the project because so much time had passed and not anything was happening. And what you see is these defendants in this particular case only gave about 30 days to get the refund in process. So a lot of these people weren't even checking up on the Meta card process within 30 days because they had given up. So you have, one, a lot of people who missed it just because they weren't checking. Two, if people were checking, they still may or may not have qualified. And three, even the people that did qualify, we believe, if you look at the refund process, they made it very difficult to comply with. In my opinion, it's probably because they wanted as little people as possible to get a refund. And then, you know, if you look at our amended complaints, on top of all of this, we have some people who went through all of that process, who signed the agreement. We have a plaintiff in our amended complaint who signed the refund agreement, and it's signed with a NELK representative, and then never got paid the refund.
The board jerky rollout and refund program weren't just some gestures of goodwill. They were the clean...
Chad, but we can't act like a lot of businesses don't move like that. It's what we would call shady business. In my book, I don't want to do business with no one like that. But at the same time, let's not act like they're the first to do it. And let's not act like it's NELKBOYS sitting in a room coming up with these ideas. This is probably the John guy, allegedly, or the higher-ups that work for them and work along them, trying to just protect them. What are you going to do? You're going to give $27 million back like that? Of course there's a long process, a stretched-out process. There's a stretched out process to get a freaking license in this place. There's a stretched out process to get a permit in the state, yet alone a license. You got to sit there. They're not open on Saturdays and Sundays. Their hours are weird. You got to probably take off work. Most people can't take off work. Now you need to figure out how to get there on your break. How are you going to get there on your break when you're waiting in a line with 20 people? I mean, this is what people who make millions of dollars would say good business. This is what guys like us who value being fair and doing the right thing over money would say shady business. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just is what it is. It sucks. I ain't know nothing about this. When this comes to the NELKBOYS, and I'm not gonna pretend either. I'm not gonna put a blind eye to it, turn a blind eye to it. I'm not gonna say, oh, they didn't know. They probably don't know. They know that this is the process. They know why we're doing this. We're doing this because maybe most people, especially your fans, young guys who like to party and chase girls and go to college, they don't have time to do this 3 different steps. Most of them will make it to step 1. 20% of them will make it to step 2. 5% will go as far as step 1 or 3. And those people, let's just cross our fingers, and 2% of them won't even have a U.S. bank account. Let's say the other 3%, only 1% will have someone that they can say, hey, can I send some money to your U.S. bank account and you send it to me? And then that gives us 1% of people that we end up refunding. Maybe nothing over $2 million. Everybody put $200,000 from their $5 million take, and that's just money to play with for refunds. The rest, hopefully, they like the deal with the beef jerky. What are we going to do? We're going to give them a deal in a hotel, a restaurant. Of course, we signed a beef jerky, and let's play with that. If it works for them, God bless them. If not, we covered ourselves on our end. Again, shady business, but I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You think you were going to spend $150? And again, maybe they had the best intentions going into this. But you think you're going to spend $100 and get a piece of Nelk for the rest of your life?
A soft, strategic buyback. Through those two offers alone, Nelk managed to quietly reclaim nearly 40% of the entire NFT collection. And once they had those cards, they vanished. None of them were relisted, not one. And that wasn't an accident, that was the whole point. This wasn't about stabilizing a floor price, it was about closing the loop without making a scene. No fire sale, no announcement, just a quiet, controlled deletion. Wipe their hands clean, leave the narrative intact, and walk away like the lights are still on.
We're starting the process of opening the first FULLSEND gym in
How does
OC.
that process? Okay. How far out do you think we are from opening the OC?
6 months.
Nice. And then they'll just start coming out?
We could have like 5 to 6 this year.
That'd be
That's
wild,
crazy.
bro.
It's pretty crazy.
And the truth is, most holders lost. They invested in a community, a brand, a future that never showed up. And for 2 years, they held the line, waiting on promises. And when the end came, it didn't come with an apology, it came with paperwork and a countdown clock. But here's where the story takes a turn, because not everyone walked away with nothing. If you were paying close attention to the photos from the handful of Metacard events that did happen, you might have noticed there was one face that kept popping up. Again and again. Different events on different days, but somehow always there. At first, I figured it was just a coincidence. The same guy showing up in a few event photos. Whatever. But something about it stuck with me, so I started digging. Eventually, I landed on his LinkedIn. His name was Alec, but right there listed in his bio was regional manager at Happy Dad. And honestly, that really pissed me off, because suddenly all of those Metacard events didn't look like exclusive perks, they looked like staged marketing shoots. It made me wonder how many of those smiling faces were actual cardholders, and how many were just employees, filling space, dressed up to sell the fantasy in some lazy PR play. But it turns out that I had it backwards. He wasn't at those events because he worked for Happy Dad, he works for Happy Dad because he showed up to those events.
After the Colonel made his hot and spicy wings, he needed the perfect pairing. So, he invented the potato. No need to look.
We're listening. Where are you going with this?
Alright, I'm joining.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, what's going on, man? So I guess let's start, honestly, even before the Metacard. Like, how long were you a fan of Nelk before you even purchased the card in the first place?
Yeah, so I was kind of a fan of them, not super dedicated, like I wasn't a crazy super fan, but once I got to college, you go to college and everybody's got the FULLSEND flags and you're kind of like, what is this? And everyone's watching Nelk videos. Like when you're in college, that's what we talk about. Like you get with your friends, did you see the latest Nelk prank? And so that was when I kind of started like watching their videos and really becoming a fan.
When you bought, I know there was like different elements of the Metacard. Like some people were buying in as more of an investment, like to make money, and other people wanted to buy in because they wanted to hang out with the NELKBOYS. Were you closer towards like more of like the fan side or more of like hard investor side of things?
I was kind of a perfect mix of everything because, like I said, I started investing in crypto back in 2017. I was a fan of Nelk, so it was kind of the perfect storm. And then at the time I was living in San Diego. So it was like, oh, there's also the chance that I get to meet these guys or meet the guys that they're friends with and kind of interact with the community. So it was literally like the perfect blend of those three things.
Right.
I was like, oh yeah, this is probably something that would be worth it.
Okay, cool. So then I guess let's go through, a brief like timeline of like, you're a Happy Dad employee now. So I know when we previously spoke that you said that there was a couple events that you made it to and you made friends not only with people that worked at Nelk, but also other card holders. And you guys were able to kind of like continue to show up to more events and just built a healthy relationship from that. After the Snoop Dogg event, what was the next kind of thing that like where you started to find your way into that circle a bit more?
Yeah, 100%. So like I said, I was in San Diego and in August of that same year, they ended up doing a podcast with Elon Musk and they were all going to watch it at the headquarters, which is now our office for Happy Dad, funny enough, but they were going to do it at the Nelk FULLSEND headquarters. And they wanted to invite some holders really last minute. There's not very many of us that were readily available to go and also in the Southern California area. So they put it in the Discord. They're like, anyone that can make it, shoot me a DM. And I DM'd them and they were like, all right, it was like tomorrow. It was like, show up like tomorrow, 5 p.m. if you can make it. And I was like, all right, sure. So I pulled up and everybody was there, Kyle and John and Sam and Steiny and all those guys. So we ended up hanging out there like all night and trying some of the new flavors for Happy Dad and all this stuff and just hanging out. And then after that, I went up there again in Orange County and hung out at a bar up there, and they ended up showing up, and then it was kind of a coincidence. It was like, oh, hey, you're here, and they remembered me, and obviously I know them, and so after that it just kind of was like more frequent, kind of getting hit up about things and just making friends with them and their circle as well.
Yeah, and that definitely goes to show that, you know, while Metacard wasn't great for absolutely everybody, the people, you know, similar to yourself that were able to stay active in the Discord, stay active on Twitter, stay active in all of the different groups, paying attention to the notifications and things that are being posted in there, when an opportunity did arise, you were able to capitalize on that.
Yeah, there was definitely a group of us that, you know, I won't like dox anyone, but there was definitely a group of us that were active and were positive about the group, and didn't really care as much about, because you could tell there was kind of a divide in people that only cared about the gyms, the hotels, the big promises, and there was a kind of divide of people who they just kind of wanted to see what we could do in the community. Hey, can we hang out? Hey, this guy owns a business. Can we help his business out? Can we go have lunch there and kind of boost his business? Hey, this guy owns a bunch of liquor stores. Maybe we can, you know, eventually get a product in there that we own or something. It was just like, hey, let's use this as a networking opportunity and see what comes of it.
I like
and
that.
It was ended up being pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think at one point you had mentioned that you ended up just deleting your Discord because of how toxic, like, even like, was it people reaching out to you directly through like DMs, or was it like just in the like
it was mostly in the
servers?
Discord, but I had like 2 or 3 people that were like DMing me on there and then found me on Instagram and were DMing me on Instagram too. I still have people that DM me on on Instagram, crazy things. So, but yeah, in Discord, I had to leave eventually because it wasn't the negativity; it was like the targeted stuff.
Yeah, the
and I was
harassment.
like, all right, like I just don't need to hear this. So,
And I can understand both perspectives where it's like, yeah, the guy that lives in England, he can't make it out to the Elon recording within 24 hours. Like, that's just not realistic. But I also don't think that same person should be targeting you because you took advantage of an opportunity.
Both things are true.
yeah, that's I guess really why I left, because it felt like people were starting to shift their like anger from, you know, it was like, oh, I can't be mad at the NELKBOYS anymore, so I'm going to be mad at these people who are benefiting from this project. And it was like, it's kind of going against the whole principle. Like, we're supposed to be a community. We're supposed to be like happy for each other. And there's nothing I could do. I don't run the project. I had no control over what was going on in Metacard. I was just trying my best to get my money's worth out of the project in any way I could. And I got these people that are all up in arms, and I'm like, why am I the scapegoat all of a sudden? But, you know.
Yeah.
Roku's self-serve
They're up in
ads
arms because they're not up in
It's
stock.
easier than ever with Ads Manager.
Right, chat.
Sign up today.
But if they were up in stock, they wouldn't be up in arms. The man just made the best of his situation.
Yeah, so I guess
Super lucky, super blessed.
I mean, I've of course never met John or any of them, and so as someone who was involved in a situation that wasn't necessarily always ideal for you, even you did still walk out and like manage to have great relationships with them. So like on a personal level, like, do you think that they're bad people and their intentions from the start were to walk out with 23 million and do nothing?
Nah,
or
no, I mean, knowing them, knowing John, knowing some of the guys in Nelk, like, no, there's no way they went into this with the intention of scamming their fans. The proof is in the last 10 years of what they've done. They love their fans more than any other creator online. That's why they have the ability to sell this merch out. That's why they have the power behind drinking Coronas and then translated that into Happy Dad. They care about their fans more than any other like creator online. And so I think that they're also to their own
downfall.
Fault a little too ambitious.
Right.
And so
That makes sense.
Selling alcohol is extremely hard. Creating an independent alcohol business is so hard, and they went out and did it. And so, like,
they thought, what else?
To have that kind of ambition, you have to be a little crazy. And so I think that they had these wild dreams of having bars and gyms and hotels, and for whatever reason, it just didn't work out.
Now, ultimately, at this point, we have no idea how or why the Metacard project went down the way that it did. This lawsuit has really just started, but throughout the process, the internal Nelk team will definitely share a bit more about their own perspective. I mean, they'll kind of have to. So for now, the story does leave a bit open-ended, but as more information comes to light, we're definitely open to making a part 2. We did reach out to dozens of Metacard holders that are part of this lawsuit, as well as the internal Nelk team, and weren't able to get anyone to do an on-the-record interview. But if you're watching and you are involved in this whole Metacard project, and you want to share your side of the story, definitely reach out in case we do a part 2. We really did like the addition of the interviews to the videos, so maybe you're not a Metacard holder, but you've got a cool story that you'd want told relative to the whole creator community. Also reach out. We're always excited to hear more video ideas. I did also want to shout out Underdog again. This is genuinely the first video we haven't lost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on, and it was a great time filming the entire challenge. But yeah, all in all, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time. I don't know how to make an outro.
You know what? I never thought about that. Sometimes I think the more that I grow with my community, of course I got high ambitions too. I think I'm looking to have, like, you know, a full send type of community that supports the merch and the ideas, and, you know, I've already talked about putting a short film together, a script. So anyways, I never thought about why some of y'all take the check, because I always thought I don't want to interrupt the good content. When we get into a flow, I don't want to stop to sit there and take a check. But yeah, that makes sense now that he says it like that. He said it's the first video he didn't lose on. After paying the guys, whoever, you know, the guests that you have on your show, $500 or $1,000, after taking the time, after filming, maybe you use a studio, so you're using their camera, after paying your editors, yeah, you could be like $5,000 deep by the time you're done with a video, and you put it out on YouTube, and it takes another 4 months before you make $4,000 or $5,000 back. Nah, I'm not buying it. Nah, that doesn't make sense. I don't know if I believe him. Your first video, as big as your YouTube is, your first video that you don't lose money on just because you took a deal, that doesn't make sense. YouTube is income. Income is constantly coming in. There's no way you don't make back what you pay. It's not like you're doing Mr. Beast type of productions. Someone like that, like Mr. Beast has said it. He says, I usually don't make money back. He said it on the Joe Rogan podcast, the Joe Rogan Experience. I don't make money back on most of my videos. Excuse me. Is that a stretch? Could be. Is he telling the full truth? Probably not. But is it possible that if you did the math, if you took, all right, 4,000 from this video, all right, the 20,000 we made on this video, all right, if you take all these numbers and put them on certain, did we make money back here? Yes, we made the money back when you take these two videos, and then the video over here made the money back for this video. So I know he's making money, but is there possible that there's one video or two here and there where he's like, this video basically didn't make nothing, I'm taking money for? Yeah, I could see that. Anyways, why are we talking about everybody else? I don't know, but yeah, in part 2, you should let us know if bro still has his job. Because you just said you reached out to Nelk and they didn't want to respond. Which, by the way, good. They're doing the right thing by... I'm sure they're getting the best legal advice. We've seen their lawyers pick up the phone and say, yeah, you can do that prank. Yeah, no, don't do that prank. Remember the airplane prank? The getting drunk at the bar with bro? Bro is funny. I don't know how him and NELKBOYS haven't done more videos. But drinking Jack Daniels at the bar and dressed as pilots, acting like they're getting on a plane. Oh, we're at an hour, chat. All right, we're done. I'm shutting it down. I'll see you tomorrow. There's nothing but love for the NELKBOYS. I mean, what else could it be? We literally grew up on them, and they motivated us. I mean, it is what it is. Did they do something where they might have to clean it up? Maybe. And if that's the case, hopefully they have future endeavors that they make enough money to clean this up. I'm sure not everybody's suing them. I'm sure 50% of the people think like me, like just chalk it up to the game. It is what it is. It didn't work out. It just didn't work out. Sometimes you have ideas. Bro, if tomorrow you accomplished the things they did in their life, from a beer company to selling out merch, you would think too, what's next? What's next? You got ambition. You're hungry. You're like, what else can we accomplish? What else can we accomplish? What else can we get our hands on? I don't know why they didn't just go the only route. To me, that would have made sense for their type of content. Stoner route. Get their own weed brand. I don't know how they didn't go that route. Because for me, that would have been like almost, it makes sense. From grinders to bud to our own weed brand. We got a beer brand. Now we got a weed brand. Two things that will always be sold for all of eternity. People will always buy beer and alcohol, and people will always buy weed. Now that it's a business, but they wanted to go big. So they went for the tellies, the hotels, and when you start doing the numbers and doing the math, bro, it doesn't add up. It's too much. Not to mention running the hotel. It's $27 million. You think they're gonna buy a hotel? Let's say they don't have to refurbish it. Let's say it's ready. I mean, it is ready to be lived in. They got a hotel. They got employees that they're paying yearly. They got chefs. They got room service. They got alcohols and beers. You know how much that is going to be to run before they start seeing any return on investment? It's a lot, bro. It's a lot. It gets crazy. So some people lost some money. It is what it is. My question is, why don't we see them anymore? I figured they just got too much money. You just get to a point where golfing and drinking beer is more fun, and just hanging out with your loved ones and enjoying the fruits of your labor is more fun. But it's crazy to me because I look at their content, and of course, as a fan, I want them to come back. But I look at their content and I think, even to this day, no one is doing what they did. No one's doing what they were doing. So I don't understand why they don't just keep tapping back into this market. But I also have to look at it the other way, which is, if YouTube told me tomorrow, God forbid, we ain't paying you for no more content, maybe that would disappoint me too. Maybe that would make me want to go golf and just drink beer all day with the millions I made and not keep slaving over this content. It is what it is. We support them. Alright, chat. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Got a heavy day tomorrow. Like, videos back to back to back. Alright? Only reason we shut down early today was because, well, we started late, but I thought something was going to happen that I was going to have to show up for, and it didn't happen. But I got a couple other things done that are important. So we got that coming soon. Alright, love. Get out.